Hey, did you get the memo?
What?
This one comes straight from the top. I got it right here. It says, and I quote, "Put away those fragrances that make you smell like a sweet little tree and get out those citrus bangers. Warm weather is coming." Actually, it's already here. The end.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Get some help.
All right, we're back. And if you're new here, my name is Curtis. Welcome. So, as you guys know, the warm weather is here. So it's time to put away those fragrances that you wear in the winter and fall months, and time to get out those fragrances that feature, prominent notes of citrus. Why? Because citrus fragrances work so well in the warmer and hotter temperatures. They just make you feel very refreshed and cool, and I love them. So I'm going to be showing you 5 fragrances in my collection that do just that. So if you're curious to see what I've chosen, then let's go. So first up on the list, from the house of Hermes, we have Eau Givrée. And basically all you need to know here is this is icy cold grapefruit juice in a bottle. It's a heavy blast of citron, but this is extremely refreshing, and there's definitely, it's definitely an interesting take on the original Terre Hermes DNA, but this one is just very light, just very citrusy, and like I said, icy cold. I mean, I live in Japan, and so we have very humid summers here, and our spring weather is also quite hot. So for me, when I put this one on in those kind of warmer days or very high heat, it almost gives me goosebumps, because this literally makes you feel icy cold. It is that realistic and good, and just extremely refreshing, and quite a refined fragrance. It's definitely one that you should check out for sure. It is quite linear, however, it works perfectly in those warmer temperatures. So it's definitely one to check out if you haven't got your nose on. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Eau Givrée by Hermes. Next up, from the house of Nishane, we have Wulong Cha. Man, what can I say? Dense. This goes in the rotation heavily in those warmer months. Why? Because it is extremely refreshing, and it is a very unique smelling fragrance. There's definitely those citruses in the top, heavy blasts of citruses, along with a bit of greenness, and also you get that tea note. But this one is so unique and refreshing, and I don't have another fragrance like this in my collection. Now, this one, performance is phenomenal. It pushes out quite heavily, especially for a fresh fragrance, and the longevity is great. Nishane does fragrances so well. So as you guys know, Nishane is definitely one of my favorite brands. But this fragrance too, I mean, it's so pleasant. You can overspray this one and you're not really gonna offend anyone. It's just very light, airy, like I said, a bit of greenness, and just overall extremely fresh. And that tea note that's in here makes this fragrance extremely unique. It's a great one, refreshing, perfect for those warmer months. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Wulong Cha by Nishane. Next up, from the house of Xerjoff, we have Neo. So basically with this one, you get some citrusy bergamot, green notes, and neroli in the top, which help to make this fragrance just smell so clean and fresh. This has to be one of the cleanest smelling fragrances, if not the cleanest smelling fragrance in my collection. So basically my image of this is just, you're kind of under a waterfall. It's a nice clear skies, and you're just lathering yourself up with basically luxurious Irish Spring soap, and that's kind of what you get here. It's just so clean, fresh, luxurious. and amazing. I love this one. This one is just super clean, classy, and it's a neroli bomb. So if you don't like the note of neroli, this may not be your cup of tea, but I don't know, I would say try to get yourself a sample. You may change your mind after you smell this fragrance. It's that good. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Neo by Xerjoff. Next up, from the house of Atelier des Ors, we have Pomelo Riviera. You're wearing a hat, sunglasses, an open white shirt, you're on the beach. This is European vacation vibes in a bottle. It is so refreshing and it smells quite luxurious. It's extremely well done, but basically this is like fresh pomelo grapefruit, like the skin before you cut it. There is a slight bitterness here, but it is extremely refreshing, just very clean. And like I said, there is a slight elegance about this one, but it smells extremely, extremely good. Now, one thing I will say about this fragrance, as it does sit quite close to the skin, so I guess in a way you could almost consider it a skin scent. A projection is quite minimal, so it does project a little bit, but you know, this is not, you know, a beast mode fragrance by any means. It does sit quite close to the skin. Longevity, maybe 4 to 5 hours, but this is another one of those fragrances that, I mean, you could, you know, overspray this one 10 sprays and you're not gonna offend anyone. It's just very pleasant. And like I said, it sits close to the skin, so it's not gonna project a whole lot, but it's perfect for very like warm and hot days, especially if you live in like a more humid climate. This one's gonna work a treat. It's a great one. I love the smell. Like I said, it's those warmer months, you're probably gonna catch some sweat anyway. So, you know, if 4 or 5 hours isn't enough for you, then just reapply. But yeah, this is a great one and definitely one that I'm gonna be going to very soon. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Pomelo Riviera by Atelier des Ors. And finally, from the house of Xerjoff, we have Torino 21. So this one is a bright, fresh, lemony, minty scent, and it has great performance, and the sillage trail is to die for. It just smells very, very refreshing and cool. And I think they created this fragrance based off some like European tennis tournaments. I don't know that much about tennis, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the whole Torino series was based off of some tennis tournaments.
I probably should have done a bit more research about that.
This fragrance is great. It definitely captures that image quite well. You know, the sun's beating down on you, it's hot, you know, you're moving around, and you know, it captures that image of being on the tennis court. There is a slight sportiness about this one, but it doesn't give you the image of like those 90s sporty fragrances that you might be used to. And yeah, in that dry down, you get that heavy push of lemon, verbena, and some musk here, but it works a treat, and it's definitely a heavy go-to for me. As you can see, I've definitely put a little dent in this bottle because it was in the rotation heavily last spring and summer. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Torino 21 by Xerjoff. All right, guys, so that's all I have for you for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's content, and let me know what fragrances will you be wearing in those warmer or hotter temperatures, because they're here. All right, well, I hope you guys are staying healthy and well, and I'll see you in the next video.